We did it yesterday, so I'm not. I said I'll do it today, but I'm not going to go to the John 11 just for time's sake. All right, for time's sake, I'm not going to go to the John 11. Okay, we're going to jump right to the John 11:55 was just saying before Passover, they came together to purify themselves. So I used this season to, go over some of the basic doctrines, basic understandings of the scriptures and things of that nature, things you might run across. Okay, and we use that opportunity during the season. Okay, but let's go to Leviticus 23. Let's go to Leviticus 23. This should be common for those that have been here a lot. Okay. Leviticus 23. So just for time's sake. All right, Leviticus 23, Brother Kai, we're going to start at verse 1. Leviticus 23, and we're going to start at verse 1. All right. So you need to know some of the feasts. This is where you will go get the annual ones. All right. There were some that our forefathers and foremothers came up with on their own to commemorate what God done. These are the ones that God instituted. Right. So there's a difference. There's some that man institute, right? Like Purim and things of that nature, giving reverence to God. And then there's some that the Most High instituted where we didn't have no say, thought, or anything. He dictated that. Okay. So Leviticus 23, start at verse 1, brother.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feast.
Concerning the feast of Moses. Is that what it
Of
says?
Yahweh.
More,
Of
Lord speaking to
Yahweh.
Moses. He's saying, These are my feasts. These ain't
That's
Mosaic
right.
feasts. This ain't nothing. No, 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 no. We ain't gonna water this down. This is what the Lord's telling Moses to do. He ain't suggesting it. He ain't saying it's a good idea. These concerning the feast of Lord Yahweh, which ye shall. This ain't no optional thing. He said you going to proclaim to be what? Holy convocations or holy gatherings. Even these, and he reiterated, even these are my feast. I don't want you getting mixed up with other stuff. This is what I'm telling you. These are appointments. These are dates for me and my people. This is why I tell you, you got to be mindful. This wasn't for everybody. Okay, who's he telling to speak this to, Brother Kai? Verse 2. Read that first part.
Absolutely. Speak unto the children of
And they
Israel.
say speak to the world. Speak to those that what are going to be my people because I have something for them to do. I wasn't giving this to non-believers. I wasn't giving this to people that don't want to serve the Most High God. He said, this is for the children of Israel, for my people and those that are connected with them, right? This is what this is for. Okay? Verse 3.
6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It
So
is the
what he,
Sabbath of Yahweh
so the first
in
thing he
all your dwelling.
mentioned, I'm sorry, the first thing he mentioned is what? He's talking about the seventh day Sabbath. He's giving you the things you got to do, and he starts off with the what? The big pinnacle. Seventh day Sabbath. Listen, you got 6 days to do work. The seventh day is going to be what? A Sabbath of rest. It's a what? Holy convocation. You need to come together. All right. This is not a suggestion. This is something what he told us to do. Ye shall do no work therein is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. All right. Wherever you're dwelling, this is what you're doing. Okay. But we're not dealing with the so-called Sabbath, seventh day right now. All right. Let's keep.
These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Reiterates it again. It's his feast. It's a holy convocation we gather, and we shall proclaim it. All right. We going to proclaim it. We are going to teach it in its season. All right. Verse 5.
In the 14th day of the first month, at even is Yahweh's Passover.
And the first one. So we got the first one might separate the Sabbath because what's different between the Sabbath one the seventh day Sabbath. Well, I'm giving away now. Seventh day Sabbath and the other ones. That one's weekly. That holy convocation is weekly. The other ones he's dealing with are annual. Okay. So you have certain things where you'll do weekly. Seventh day Sabbath, holy convocations, right? We had a weekly holy convocation, but then they're annual holy convocations. And to be honest, the seventh day Sabbath, all of Israel weren't gathering together as a nation for the seventh day Sabbath. But the feast, we will come together as a nation. See how I'm making sense? See, you can not see your brothers and deal with them. You're not seeing them every week. You ain't seeing certain ones every week. They certain distance now. You ain't dealing with them. But on the annual one, this was the whole big family reunion. We're coming together, gathering together. Okay, so you have a weekly Sabbath and you have annual Sabbaths. All right. Now we're not going to dive into all the nooks and crannies of it. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. All right. But just because it's the Sabbath, you have to look at it. Certain ones, you don't treat it as like a 7th-day Sabbath where you can't cook or you can't work and things of that nature. You have to, it'll spell out what you got to do. Okay. So there's some that's like last a week, but you only have to take off like 2 days out of that time. You take it all 7. Okay? So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. And let's start at verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 1. If I'm going too fast, beloved, just say slow down or whatever. Or if you need clarity or something, just let me know through the chat or get it off from you. All right. Deuteronomy 4 and verse 1.
Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments, which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live and go in and possess the land which Yahweh God of your fathers giveth you.
So some people get caught up on the commandments, or they'll just go to that like it's the 10 commandments. Saying, see, that's the one you got to focus on. That ain't what God says. All right. It says, hearken, O Israel, unto the what? Statutes. And unto the judgments.
Judgment.
Which who teaches, Brother Kai?
I.
For to what? So you can just hear them or what? What's the purpose of going through that?
Do them.
Oh.
Do them.
To do them. And then when you do them, what shall you do?
That ye may live.
See, they want to grab the one part. Oh, you honor your mother and father, your days be long. But he's saying, when you do my commandments and statutes, ye may live. One is prolonging your days. This one that you live as well. You got some real big demons honor their mother and father per se, but their days ain't gonna be extended just because of that. You got to get all of it. Get the conclusion of the matter, beloved, not just what we want. Okay, that ye may live and what? Go in and possess the land which Yahweh God of your fathers give you. All right. So this was the agreement. All right. Go in there. Verse 2.
Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you.
You can't do what? What's one of the rules to this? You can't add to it. All right. Well, I feel Brother Mike coming up there saying, you know what, I'm gonna make this feast day. You can't work and all that stuff. That will be me adding to it. All right. We can come and say we'll commemorate and do something like that. But if I put it in this kind of weight, like the Lord's doing, now I'm adding to it. All right. So we can't add unto the word which I command you. Listen to me saying the word which I commanded you, because he didn't just command 10 commandments. He commanded all these things. Moses came off the mount. These are the things he's delivering to the people. It wasn't just the 10. All these things. All right. So you can't add to it. Neither shall ye what, Brother Kai? Diminish.
Diminish all.
So you can't, you're just taking things away. And this is the big thing that's happening. A lot of adding, a lot of taking away. And that's why the results may vary. A lot of adding, taking away. See, it's not just Revelation when they say, don't add to this book of the prophecies or take. That's fine. But in our law, that's not something new. You should already knew we ain't supposed to be added or taken away when it does with anything with dealing with the Most High God. Learn about your God, beloved. Where you sign off saying you want to serve him. I know it sounds good. You need to learn what you are doing. Okay? Because you're not willing to do these things, don't sign off. I'm just like, don't sign off on it. It's worse. You sign off on it, you're saying, I'm going to do all that you command me. I'm giving you some of what he commanded. You go through this book, that's what you're saying, I'll do. All right? So don't add or diminish that ye may keep the what? Commandments of your of Yahweh your God, which I command you. All right? This is what he's saying. This ain't my thoughts. Let's keep reading.
Your eyes have seen what Yahweh did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, Yahweh thy God hath destroyed them from among you.
And that's where we can go through the food of Baal Peor, but this is what happens, beloved. When you start going, adding, taking away, you're going to be serving this. All right. Let's get to inheritance there. This ain't part of it. Let's go verse 6. Why we're doing this? People are like, why are we doing this? It's a reason why he's commanding you to do this. All right. Let's see if the Bible follows through with it. Let's go to verse 6, though. Let's go to verse 6.
Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. We shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
A good understanding have them that do the commandments, right? You ain't gonna get a full understanding of the 7-day Sabbath until you start doing it. Okay? Doing it correctly, how the Bible tells you to do it. You're not gonna get a full understanding on the feast unless you start doing it. Okay? So he's saying, keep therefore and do them, the things I'm commanding you. For this, what is this? This is your wisdom. This is Israel's wisdom. But you can look at the world and look at Israel, brothers and sisters that look like us, right? This ain't our wisdom. Some of our brothers and sisters don't know nothing about God. You go into congregations every day, but you don't know nothing about your God. Half of what you know is from, a lot of times, it's from your oppressors teaching you certain stuff. And some of it's not even from them. Some of you just lean to your own understanding, right? But look what he's saying. This is going to be your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of nation. Our children don't even know about this. This is why we are dumb people. This is why we destroyed people, because we lack the knowledge of our God. They're supposed to be seeing these things and saying, they're different. They serve a different God than us. Our God is doing the Easter. Our God doing the, they got gods doing all kinds of stuff. Some of your gods is right in this land that we live in. It's America. You got an American God. That ain't the wisdom we have. This is your wisdom. This is your understanding in the what? Sight of the nations. They're supposed to be looking and saying, why y'all doing that? You don't do these things. We do these kind of holidays. Why y'all doing that? Why ain't you doing it? Because we serving two different gods. They supposed to know the difference. A lot of people don't know the difference because we're so blended in with the world. That's why God don't, well, I ain't even get to that part yet. All right, what? Shall hear all these statutes. They're going to what? Hear all these statutes. What did it say in Acts 15 when they had the whole thing? He said, let it be. They're going to go to the synagogues and everything every Sabbath and hear Moses and the prophets. You thought it was some big old revelation. That's the same. It's always been like that. Some of you going and y'all never even hearing the word of Moses. What are you doing? Because that's what we know we was getting all through the scriptures. But now it's a forbidden book in the church. Surely this is a great and wise nation. Nation is wise and understanding people. What do we understand? We have the oracles of God. This is what Paul was talking about in Romans chapter 3. What advantage have the Jew? People stop right there. He said they got a big advantage, chiefly because they have the oracles of God. They know what God is doing, why he's doing certain things. But our people has given up on exploring and seeking the Most High God. Oh, well, I don't understand, so I guess it's null and void. That ain't what he's saying. Seek him. If you need to understand, seek him. Okay? Nah, I ain't even gonna jump into all that. Let's just move on. Let's go to Romans 14. And I laugh for doing some of this stuff because, boy, if you to me a couple years back, boy, I was on a whole different side. All right. And boy, I thought I was sounding good and sounding smooth. Right. But and the Lord humbled me with some of the understanding. And I didn't notice right off the bat. As I started doing certain things, I didn't fully understand. I started doing, and certain things just start coming together. All right. So this is Romans 14. Okay. This is one you're going to hear. A lot of times they'll use this for Sunday. Sunday people use this for serving the Sabbath. Right. But I'm going to show you something. So Romans 14, and let's just go to verse 5, and then we'll jump somewhere else real quick.
Who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he is able to be holding up, for God is able to make him stand.
So they'll go in there and say, "Don't judge me" and stuff like that. What you doing to? I ain't judging you. We giving you what thus saith the Lord, right? We ain't over there condemning nobody else or anything like that. But God is what? He's the one that's going to judge and do these things. All right. But let's read verse 5 because this is the one I to go to.
One man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
So they'll take it as, oh, the writer's saying, everybody just do whatever you want, and everybody be persuaded with what they want to do. All right. We know God don't really work like that. All right. Everybody's convinced. But he's saying did he say God or he's talking about man? Read that verse 5. What did he start off with? One man esteemeth one day above another. Leviticus 23, was that man esteeming a day above another? Or God was saying, these are my feast days. Y'all see the difference, beloved? They try to apply things that shouldn't even be connected. Because sometimes it's about, I don't feel like doing it. But God, if you're going to do it, he's going to direct it the right way. Okay? One man esteemeth one day above another, and another esteemeth every day alike. We can esteem certain days above another. Even if it's not dealing with God, we'll still, okay, this is going to be an important day for me. All right? But that'll make you holy or unholy with what we esteem. Okay? But you will have these things. Person will esteem a day above another. Okay? But let's stop here. Let's go. Remember this. Let's go to Sirach. All right? This is an Apocrypha, also known as Ecclesiastes. All right? Our Wednesday class will eventually get to this chapter. Okay. No, did we already finish? Wait, we're doing Sirach. So I think we're like chapter 12. All right, so we'll get here for a minute. All right. So Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach, and you're going to go to chapter 33. Right? We got a couple of months before we run into that. All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 33. And go to verse 1. Let's start at verse 1.
There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him.
All right. There ain't no evil happening to us that fear the Lord. When you go and say, I'm doing this because the Bible say this, that's the safest place you can be, beloved. So ain't no evil. I ain't worried about, oh, you're going to get cursed because you're doing that. You just making stuff up. People say all kinds of stuff. Read again. There shall how much evil come upon you? No evil.
No evil.
But people, if you're doing this, that means that. Nah, that's what man say. That's why you ask them, where you get that from? Well, what? And see, they're going to have to go to this whole route of la la land in their head to make a point. The Bible, that's what I love about it, is very, here it is, here it is, here it is. Because it wants you to be identifying people that are going off and going to their own eye match, right? So I say, lean not to your what? Own understanding. The Bible say this, you want to go and say this because you don't want to submit to that, right? You have to be very mindful because it's not always intentional, beloved. Not always intentional. But sometimes when we go, we hear something, right? Our flesh fights it before we even try to get understanding on it. I tell you, brothers bring it to me. I didn't always get this. Brother, like, man, you see this say blah, blah, blah. First thing I want to do was resist it. Not even investigate. I just wanted to resist it. Because a lot of things we resist because we don't know. We fear what we don't know. We fear what we don't do or we're comfortable with. This is fleshly things. All right. But just because you're not comfortable with it or you never heard it, don't make it wrong. All right. So make sure we take our time, beloved, with these things. Verse 2.
A wise man hateth not the law,
Mm.
but he that is a hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm.
A wise man don't hate the law. A wise man don't despise it. Oh no, we don't hate the law. We're just not doing it. Nah, that's that's biblical talk for it. Oh, you hate it. Because in God's eyes, if you're not doing it, if you love me, you're gonna keep it. So if you hate me, what are you not going to keep, beloved? You see how it's simple? If you love me, you're going to keep my commandments. So if you don't love me, what are you not going to do? And see, now you got to go through all these scriptures, try to twist your mind upside down to justify it and say, well, I still love him without keeping it. Right? All right. So a wise man hateth not the law, but he that is a hypocrite. Listen to that. Use the word hypocrite. Act like you love God, but you're not doing what he say. Hypocrite. All right? But he that is a hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm. Oh, what did that sound like, Brother Kai? Sound like something we read. Did we read that last week? I mean, yesterday? We just read that yesterday. How what? A double-minded man's unstable in what? All his ways. He going back, forth, here and there, tossed. Maybe James got this from what? Something that was written before. Maybe half the stuff we grabbed from Paul, guess what? Maybe it's already written before. And sometimes you need to see where they're getting it from to get the understanding of what they're talking about. All right? Get all thy getting, get understanding. Okay? Verse 3.
A man of understanding trusteth in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle.
You know what the thing about trust is? You don't have to fully understand it. You don't have to know the whole plan of it, the whole breakdown of it. I trust in the source that gave it to me. Because some people are like, well, if I don't understand it fully, then I don't do it. Okay. But that ain't going to save you. You trust in the Lord. He's only given things that's beneficial to us. We might not always fully understand it, beloved, but that don't mean don't do it until you do it in faith, right? Then you don't always see the whole grand scheme of things, but you believe, you're faithful to his word. But don't let man say, well, you don't understand it, so just don't do something. And I'm not telling you just to do anything, but when it comes to the word of God, you do it. And you ask that what? He brings the understanding later. All right? I don't know where we get this thinking of resisting the scriptures and all that. You got all this kind of excuses. I should have got that scripture today, but I'm not doing that. All right? A man of understanding, listen, a man of understanding trusts in the law because they know the law is good and there's nothing bad in it. So your preachers tell you it's bad. The Bible tells you it's good and you can trust in it. And what? And the law is faithful unto him as a what?
Oracle.
Oh, that's probably why Paul might have referenced that in Romans 3. What advantage did you have? They have the oracles of God. What's the oracles of God? The laws of God. It ain't talking about, oh, the 10 is going to be preserved, but everything else is just, no, that's the oracles. You see how man has taught you all these different things? God ain't never say that. God ain't say, I'm going to put these on the pedestal and these are the optional things. People was getting killed off of those things you just thrown away. You think they didn't mean something to him? Don't be deceived, beloved. All right. Verse 4.
Prepare what to say, and so thou shalt be heard, and bind up the instruction, and then make answer.
And this is where some stuff is. Learn, take your time, put things together, bind it up, then you'll answer. Because a lot of times we sound foolish because you know what? We don't understand something and we just start talking because we do it and we make a mess of the scriptures. So he's saying, prepare what to say. That means you have to look at what the thing is, look at, okay, let me put this together. Okay, this make sense. But that's how you have to prepare. All right. Then you make an answer. Some of us are making answers before we understand the matter. Who makes answers before they understand the matter, beloved? What kind of people are they? Starts with an F. Fools. Fools will say something without no evidence, without no proof. Fools do that. And also fools will what? Believe a fool. As in they will start picking up those things and say, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. You should go with that. No. And we got a whole teaching with that. Are you a fool? How to deal with fools as well. All right. But Brother Mike was a fool once, beloved. Don't think I'm just getting at people. No, I'm talking about myself with some of these things. So foolish ones. No shame in being a fool, as in the past tense. But to continue being a fool when knowledge happens, beloved, that's dangerous. Okay. Let's jump down to verse 9. We ain't gonna deal with foolish today. Let's go down to not verse 9, verse 7. Listen, beloved, listen.
Why doth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun?
It's a good question, Brother Kai. Why does one day excel another? Why is one day exalted above another? When what? When as all the light of every day in the years of the sun. God brings the sun up every day and every night. Why are we trying to extol one day over another? Why are we making the Sabbath, the seventh day so, holy and stuff? It's just like Sunday, right? Sun goes up, goes down every day. Why are we trying to make it more important? Why are y'all trying to make certain days important? Read verse 8. That was a question.
By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts.
Hold up, Brother Khan. I want y'all to hear this, beloved. By the what? The knowledge of who?
The Lord.
This ain't no Moses thing. This ain't no lines of Zion making this stuff up thing. This is the knowledge of the Lord. Now, what you got to ask yourself, do you know the knowledge of the Lord? See, this is why you can throw stuff away when you don't understand. It says these days were created from the knowledge of the Lord. When he had Leviticus 23, he said there was a knowledge why he had those days. Brother Michael had, these ain't convenient days for me. I would have been like, yeah, let's do the second, but, this day to make sure it's more. That will be Brother Michael. But it says, the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished. They were set apart. They were sanctified through his knowledge. Do you know more than the Lord? Scripture says, have he been counseled? Do you know more than him? So he said, why do you do those days? Because he understands. I might not understand and break it down, beloved. I think there's still so much in these days that I have no idea with, beloved. But that don't knock the fact that he said it for a reason. Most I don't do things for nothing. All right? It's all calculated and planned. By the knowledge of the Lord, they were distinguished. And Brother Kai, what's after that? He altered, just in case we didn't know what he was talking about, being distinguished and coming from the knowledge. What is he saying? And he altered seasons, which we still acknowledge, right? And we know seasons are important. And what's that F word?
Feast.
So these things in Leviticus 23 that we going over, this was from the knowledge of the Lord. Some of them, most of them didn't know the fullness of these days. And even today, there's some ignorance we have. Even those that's doing it, there's some ignorance we don't know about it. But one thing we do know is what? This came from the Lord. And if it comes from the knowledge of the Lord, it's important. Whether we like it, believe it, understand it, or not. Verse 9, Brother Kai.
Some of them he made high days and hallowed them. And some of them he made ordinary days.
Some of them God made what? High days.
High days.
Oh, the high Sabbath, right? He made them like that. This is going to be a Sabbath. You don't work it. Oh, he made them like that. And he hallowed them. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
He sanctified them. He set them apart. Now you got to ask your question.
That's right.
If you are treating them like regular days, who's going against the Lord? It says he made them to be hallowed. Now let me ask you. I'm going to ask all of y'all because it's a big misconception. Every time they go to feast days, they go to who? Who is the writer that they go to when it comes to feast? To take it away and destroy it. Who is the main one? It's only one. It's like Brother Paul. You don't got no, and this is where we got to realize, we got from Genesis to Revelation, you only got one person that you can go and get a resource with. This is why they got to push Paul so high. You got to make him above everything because he's the only one that it appears that he's destroying it. But even in Paul in all his glory, beloved, all right, can he unhallow something that the Most High hallowed?
Nope.
Can he unsanctify something that the Most High sanctified? Can he make it ordinary what the Most High made to be special? See, this is why I say, who do you serve? You got to answer. Who do you serve? I don't bring this out all the time, but I want you to know the Most High set this up. And he made it special. It didn't say we hallowed it. He said he did it. Now you tell me who can take the special thing off of that? Because everybody understands this with the 7th-day Sabbath, right, Brother Kai? He sanctified it and he made it holy. It's holy. Yes, it is. But guess what else is holy? Well, you think he put a different sanctification on it? What he set apart and sanctified is sanctified. We need to understand what we're saying because a lot of times we're going to be in damnation because of what we don't understand.
Oh.
It sounds good, beloved. When these false teachers put things together, it sounds real good. But when you take your time and start to dissect it, you be like, boy, these jokers was trying to get, they about to destroy me. All right? Take your time. And like I said, I didn't know this scripture the whole time. Y'all know I didn't always address the scripture. But because being willing and obedient to trust in him and do it, he's faithful and he reveals certain things. Whether it don't have to be for y'all, for me, this is good for me. This is enough that I needed. All right, it might be another passage for you. Okay? All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20. What am I doing? Patience, Ezekiel, annuals. Okay, there we go. And this is the thing, beloved, like with me, I'm very simple. I just need somebody that, I'm good. Like, I don't need to go all over the place. I'm doing it for y'all fun and stuff like that. But you don't need to go through 1,000 scriptures because you can't see certain things. It's like, all right, well, you just want to reject it. But you got to say, why? Why isn't certain things enough? He made something special. I'm doing it. That should be enough. That should be enough for you. All right. So this is Ezekiel chapter 20, and let's go to verse 19. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 19.
I am Yahweh your God. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them.
Statute judgments and do them. All right. Because remember, there's power in the actual doing it. All right. You have to work these things out. All right. Not the hearers of the law, but the doers. Can you read them?
And hallow my Sabbaths. And they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am Yahweh your God.
But you see what happened is you'll see Sabbath. That Sabbath is S, right? Right. Sometimes we'll just interpret it as a 7th-day Sabbath. Now, don't get it wrong. 7th-day Sabbath is in there. All right. But all these are a sign between what? Him and his people. Remember, he said, this is going to be your understanding. It's going to be your knowledge. That's why I said when he's giving Leviticus 23, he didn't say, oh, the whole world. He said, I'm going to give this to my children. Okay? This is going to be a date between me and my children. We have a weekly date when we come to see each other every Sabbath, right? We'll come before the Lord. But then there's annual times where you'll come before the Lord. Okay? So and hallow my Sabbaths. Because we just read what? That he hallowed these feasts. All right? And they shall be a sign between me and you. So when they're looking at it saying, why are you doing this? Isn't it ironic when we read Exodus 12 and Passover, it says, your children are going to ask you why you do this service? Why are you doing this? Not everybody. This is a sign between his people and him and our God. See how it will just start coming together, beloved. You don't got to force nothing. It will just fit. Verse 21, Brother Kai.
Notwithstanding, the children of Israel rebelled against me. They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them. But if a man do, he shall even live in them. They polluted my Sabbaths. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness.
Notwithstanding, the children rebelled against me like we do. We weren't doing the Sabbaths, right? The feast days or even some Sabbath, we just start throwing it all away when we start rebelling. And what he said he had to do? I said, I will pour out my fury upon them. This is why we get the wrath of God. Because we're not doing what he says. To accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. When did they get these? In the wilderness. They got all these. That's what he's getting beat up, going right against it. Okay? And if you want to look to even get I'll give you just one Passover, they said they weren't doing it. They said they actually had to kind of reinstate it when they got into the land. All right? So these are the things that messes us up and get the Most High against us. So they even polluted my Sabbaths. Okay? And that's what we're going to dive into some of this stuff when it comes to Sabbaths. All right. Cut some of this stuff for time's sake. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we're going to jump down to verse. Oh man, I like this. This is going to verse 9. I'm going to. I might not do everything. Yeah, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 9.
Know therefore that Yahweh thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
And they be like, God is faithful. He's faithful, right? We get all excited. We shout, right? He's faithful to what? What is he faithful with? He is God, the faithful God. Why did we refer to him as faithful God? Which keepeth covenants and mercy. Hopefully we grab the beloved. He's faithful because we can count on him to keep what? Covenants and mercies with him that love him and keep his commandments. Sound familiar? Sound like the big guy in New Testament, right? But he's faithful and will keep that. So if we do what he tells us, he's going to keep his end of the bargain, is what he's saying. You can count on it. You can put your life on it. And keep his commandments to how long, Brother Kai? What's that last
1,000.
1,000 generations. Y'all think we put through 1,000? You think we even got to 1,000 yet? Oh, it's expired. You know, they got expiration dates. But he said keep this to 1,000 generations. From the Christ was only 40 generations. Think about that. That's only 40 generations. He's saying he'll keep it to 1,000 generations. Okay? So we don't want to start throwing stuff away. All right, let's read some of these. We're gonna go off though. I'm gonna go with something else. Go ahead, go to
and repay of them that hate him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face.
I'll repay you. I'm going to pay you back for doing this stuff. Once we start going off from doing his commandments and things he was telling us to do, that was a manifestation that we're going away from God. And we get punished every time. Every time.
To him face. Mm-hmm.
And this is why Paul can grab the thing when we talking about the bread and the wine, right? If you eat this unworthily, you drink it up, right? Christ ain't say that when he was giving an illustration right then and there. It's not written that he said that, right? But that principle is there, always been there. You do this thing not right, you can bring a curse upon yourself. Not a new concept, it's an old concept that the law already talked about. Okay, read verse 11.
Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments, which I command thee this day to do them.
Did I command you what day? This day.
This day.
All right. Because, like I said, you got the 10 commandments, but you got all these other things as well that he's telling you to do. This is why Christ said, live by every word. He didn't just say the one on Mount, the one that he read with it. No, he said every word you want to live by. All right. All right. We're not going to, I had that on there, but we're not going to keep reiterating the same point with that. All right. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 2. 2 Chronicles chapter 2. And we're going to jump down to verse 4. All right. 2 Chronicles chapter 2. And we're going to go to verse 4. All right. This is dealing with Solomon. Remember, he's blessing the house when he made the temple. All right. Keep some of this stuff in mind. 2 and verse 4.
Behold, I build an house to the name of Yahweh my God, to dedicate it to him.
All right, stop right there. Hold on. Let's walk this down. So he built the house to dedicate it to him. Right? This house is for you, Lord. Okay. To do what? Listen what's happening. This is supposed to happen in his house. So I'm going to say, I'm making this house so you can do these things I'm about to list. Okay. Read.
And to burn before him sweet incense. And for the continual shewbread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Sabbaths, and on the new moons, and on the solemn feast of Yahweh our God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel.
The thing is, wow, ever. Why ain't you doing this part? Beloved, this you had to have what? What's the main thing you had to have? The temple. All right. So the temple was made. They were doing something before it. Building the temple, because when you're dealing with certain instances, you bring stuff, that was stuff they were having there. All right. Remember, you got the Levites, stuff illustrating these things. All right. So they ain't destroying this thing. We don't have the temple regardless. Okay. So that was the thing that's predicated with it. But you're seeing that what? Incense, continual shewbread, the burnt offerings, morning and evening. That's why I say we talk about the sacrifices. That was happening every day. Besides the Sabbath we was doing it, on the feast we was doing it. So you were doing, sometimes when you had these other things, you were still adding to it. There would be certain ones you have to do for that day. All right. But we'll talk about the offering and stuff, because this is when you're gonna realize it becomes the big problem. Okay, when it comes to the feast. All right. All right, so that was the prelude. Let's go to Amos 5. All right, because usually you're going to run across these when people talking about you don't need to do it no more. Okay. Let's go to Amos chapter 5. Amos chapter 5 and verse 21. And there's more ways we can go into spell it. I'm just giving y'all a few go to. All right. So Amos 5 and verse 21. Love this. Love this one. Okay.
I despise your feast days, and I would not smell in your solemn assemblies.
I hate your feast days. Okay, I hate them. People want to stay right there. See, the Lord said he hate the feast days, even though when he's saying this, they were still keeping the feast. All right, but then I despise your feast days. Now the key word you got, like, why is he calling it like their feast days? Like, why is he doing that? Okay, but no, he's talking about the feast days he set up. All right, but I despise your feast days, and I will not smell. Listen, I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. So when you're dealing with that, you have to know when you're dealing with the offering, right? Remember, he says it can come up as a sweet smelling savior. That's when he accepts it. And then there's times where he won't accept it. Remember Solomon talking about you do these offers and everything? We will, on our feast, we will go there and offer up certain things. Okay, saying I despise your feast days, your solemn assemblies. Now the thing we have to look at is wait up. You're the one that gave us these things. We talk about you hate them. That'd be the first question. Is he get like schizophrenic? Like, what are you talking about? You gave him this, tell us to do it, and now you saying you hate it? See, people don't even think about that. The common sense thing. Okay? But listen why. All right? That's good. They'll give you this verse, but we don't just stop at a verse. We're going to look into the context. Let's read verse 22.
Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I would not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast.
So he's saying, you're offering me burnt offerings and meat offerings. I'm not accepting them. But he told us to do these things. So why would he be accepting the thing that he's telling us to do? Did he just change his mind? All right. Is he going through some crisis? Is God getting confused? Why is he saying that now? Verse 23.
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows.
So I guess we can't sing to the Lord either. You see how
Right.
This is why I say these preachers are setting you up, because they're just going and they got taught from their teacher that was ignorant, got taught from that teacher that was ignorant, and then they got you saying stuff, and you didn't even have the decency to read the passage and go 2 verses down, 2 or 3 verses down. He hate the feast. He's saying, okay, let's throw our hands up. Let's say he don't want the feast, right? Because of this verse. He also says what? Take thou away from me the noise of songs. So are we brave to say also, if we're going to be fair, he don't like music either? Because he said, take away the noise of song. Yes, that's the instruments and stuff. For I will not hear the melody of thy vows. So don't try to make it spiritual or anything like that. No, I don't want to hear your songs, because songs and stuff also is a form of offering to the Most High. Yes, he loves songs. Yes, we got a lesson on songs and stuff like that. But why is he saying he don't want it? Because there must be a reason, beloved. We have to use our sense. For somebody, I'm not mad at somebody that go to this verse because they just heard it. I'm upset that if you stay with this verse and I go 2, 3 verses down, he's saying, I don't want to hear the songs, and you say, well, I just don't want to do the feast, because then you're being unsincere. If that's even a word. All right. You're not being sincere, beloved. He also saying, I don't want to hear the songs. And we know that's just ridiculous, because we know even Christ was singing at the New Testament. Okay. So let's investigate what's going on that he don't want the things that he's asking for, that he once asked for. Why? What's the problem? Let's keep reading.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
So when we got the laws and commandments, it's supposed to be what? Judgment. And righteousness is supposed to flow. When you're doing the laws that he have in place, this is supposed to happen. It's supposed to be righteousness in the city, right? It's supposed to be flowing. But he's saying, I'm not accepting these, beloved, because what? But I want you to let this happen. Do this part. See, we think we can do one part without the other. Well, we're just going to do the Sabbath, even though we're going to be a devil all week, and thinking he's going to be accepting the offering of the Sabbath day. You're going to be a devil all year, then you're just going to come in through these feast days and say, oh, well, I'm doing good. That's what he's saying. Nope, don't bring those offerings. Don't do that. I don't want to hear you singing. I don't want you to do nothing. Close up shop unless you're ready to do what I said. You think the music is going to impress God? That's what we think. That's why the church filled this up. They think, well, because of my much singing and all this stuff, now God's going to accept the offering. Nope. We should know it, because the scriptures already tell us he don't work that way. All right. Let's keep going. Verse 25.
Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel?
What, weren't y'all offering sacrifices and stuff in the wilderness? We had feast days in the wilderness. He just gave us he gave us that in Leviticus 23, right? He gave us the feast days and said, do them. And he also saying right here, weren't y'all offering me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness? But we know he had a problem with them. Why? Not because of the feast, because they weren't doing the things correctly. He didn't say live wicked and then offer me sacrifices. That's going to just make everything good. No, he wants you to do these things so you can learn, and that you learn that obedience is better than sacrifice. But they were thinking sacrifices can disannul obedience. Nah, it don't work that way. All right. Go to verse 26. Listen to this. So he's saying, have you offered me sacrifices and everything in the wilderness 40 years, using that wilderness, offering me sacrifices? But what else was happening? Verse 26.
But ye had borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Chian your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves.
Oh, you were still serving other gods. So maybe, I could be wrong, Brother Kai. Maybe God's saying, I don't want you offering and giving me stuff when you trying to give this God over here stuff. That makes sense. Now, does that make sense now? Ladies, come on now. You got a man giving you flowers and stuff, and you find out he give this other girl flowers and stuff. You might love flowers, but you're going to say, what? I don't want those flowers. You go and give it to that. Well, we have some colorful words, which you might say to him, right? You go and give it to that sister over there. I don't want it. But are you saying I don't want it as an no? Because you asked for it. Like the brother, like I'm giving you flowers because you said you like flowers. Yeah, I do. I don't like it though. If you gonna be giving it to this other one over here, or he said I married you, I loved you, Israel. Why would you do me like that? He didn't have a problem with the feast. He had a problem with you over there sacrificing stuff with other people. See, this is why when you read it down, like, oh, that makes sense. I see why where the issue was at. The fault was in, like the new covenant said, the fault was in them. The feast was the problem. You was the problem. Because you wasn't doing what I told you to do. You did what you wanted to do and thinking I had to accept it. All right. Brother Floyd, you had something? I thought
No, I was agreeing. I apologize, brother.
Read verse 27.
Come on. Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith Yahweh, whose name is the God of hosts.
And because of that, you're going to captivity. Wasn't the feast, wasn't nothing like this. Ain't even dealing with that. He's talking about, I'm not accepting this stuff because you want to do what you want to do. You want to serve other gods. And we do the same thing today. We don't want to serve him. We want to do all this other stuff. Right? And he'll say the same thing. No matter what you can use anything. Okay? Beloved, if you're not serving him and only him, you don't care about all the other stuff. It's just sacrifices. Vain sacrifices. Okay? You got to do all that he's telling you. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. All right, so that's Amos. That's Amos. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1. And we're going to jump down to verse 11. All right? Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 11.
To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith Yahweh? I am full of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks and of lambs or of he-goats.
But you told us to do this, right? We're gonna like you was telling us to sacrifice. He's saying, but what's the purpose of the multitude to sacrifice to me? He said, listen, I'm full of burnt offering and sacrifice. Y'all giving all this stuff. And he's saying, man, I don't even delight in this. All right. There's a double meaning with this, but we ain't going to jump into it today. All right. Verse 12. Let's see.
When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts?
You come before me because we go to the house of the Lord. It's like I'm coming before him. All right. This is when we gather and everything. We're doing these feasts and these Sabbaths. It's us presenting ourselves to the Lord. All right. So we were like, oh, the Sabbath, that's the depthness of it. All right. One of the depths of it. Right. We are coming and presenting ourselves before the Lord when we come together. Now you got to do what he tell you to do. That's how you're doing it. All right. He has a set date. Well, Saturday don't work for me. I'm going to do Wednesday. Nah, see, that's when we start going off. All right. So these are set times where we gather together, all right, and he's being present. Verse 13, listen.
Bring no more vain oblations, incense and abomination unto me, the new moons and the Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting.
This God is confusing me, Brother Kai. He told us to bring incense. He said he accepted Solomon's prayer with the incense. He told us about the new moons. He's saying the Sabbaths. And I ain't even going to argue. If you think that's not talking about seventh-day Sabbath as well, it's okay. You can put that feast days, right? And calling of assemblies, because that's a holy gathering. You know you're supposed to do that on the Sabbath, but we won't argue that right now, all right? I cannot away with. It is nice. It's iniquity. That's a strong word. You told us to do something, now you're saying it's iniquity. But the key part is what? What kind of oblations? Don't bring me vain oblations.
Vain.
Why are they? Now I'm going to ask them, why is he referencing that as vain oblations? Okay. Verse 14.
Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them.
So your new moon. And no, this ain't. Listen, It's the ones he's telling us to do, but he's saying, nah, these are yours. Because you do what you want to do, and now they become yours.
Yeah.
We will come together. There's certain things it would be convenience, right? You grew up, we knew to come together for the new moon, like it was just a convenient thing, but they weren't truly doing everything you're supposed to be doing and living this thing correctly. All right. He said, I'm weary to bear them. We want to bear these things. Okay. Let's keep reading. Let's see why.
And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
Oh. So he's saying also, I don't want you praying no more. You see how when you keep reading, beloved, how things get real dumb, right? If he's hating the feast and everything, he also says what? When you spread your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. So now does he have a problem with us praying? Is prayer is sin now? Is iniquities are wrong? Or he's saying it for a reason. Yea, when ye make many prayers, because we would make prayers, listen, I will not hear. Why is he not hearing us when we're making prayers? Your hands are full of blood. Oh, so who's the problem once again? Is it the feast, the Sabbaths, and the holy gatherings and prayer and singing? Is that the problem? Or is it what? Us. No, Brother Kai, it's too hard. That's what he said it was too hard. That's why they couldn't do it. No, that's what they said. It's too hard. Yep. This is why he's mad at him, because he's saying, I'm not hearing your prayers because I realize it's too hard for you and I'm not going to answer you. See, your pastors tell you that. That ain't what it says. They could do it. You know how bad of a setup that is, beloved? If I'm telling you to do something you can't possibly do with, even if you tried, and I'm going to hold you guilty of that. That's tough, beloved. That don't seem too fair, does it? Okay. So don't just let people just throw certain things out there. All right. Verse 16.
Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before my eyes, cease to do evil.
Right. Wash you, make you clean, because what's the problem? Us. Put away the evil of your what? Doing, because we were doing evil. That's why he's not accepting it, just like you talked about in Amos, from before my eyes, and cease to do evil. Because we thought we could do these feasts, we could do these Sabbaths, we could do these prayers and still be evil. Isn't it what Christ was talking about? How you say you love God who you never seen, but you hate your brother and sister you see every day? You think you can treat people a certain way, but God still accepts your prayer? He still accepts your offering? The same kind of mindset. We ain't changed. We ain't too far from it, beloved. That's the problem. It's always been us. It ain't in God. There ain't no fault in him. Ridiculous. Verse 17.
Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow.
They didn't hear it though. They missed it right there. Learn to do what? Well.
Do well.
Where would you have to go to learn to do well according to God, Brother Kai? How would you learn to do? How do I know what's right and what's wrong? What's acceptable to do and not acceptable to do? Where would I learn that from? Maybe when we read in Deuteronomy, says when we're doing a commandment, stuff like that, people will go and they will inquire and say, you're close to God and all this kind of things. Maybe that's where we're learning. But they can't learn from us if we're doing the same wickedness, doing the same thing from them. You go, like the sister, yes, says you're on point. You go to the word. That's how you're going to learn it. That's how you're going to seek judgment, how to do things properly, how to judge matters properly. It's in there. He has a book for it. Okay? Relieve the oppressed, judge the fathers, plead for the widow. If you don't know, beloved, that's in the law. He literally tells us we can't do the fatherless wrong. We can't do the widows wrong. That's a law. You see in 10, it's in the other one, right? I believe that's definitely might be in Leviticus. You can find it, okay? But this was commanded of us, okay? In his word. So you might not understand it, but when you look at it, those read law, we know, oh, okay, yeah, he's putting right back to the law, okay? Verse 18.
Come now, and let us reason together, saith Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
So he's saying, let us what? Reason together. Come on, let's reason, beloved. Let's reason. Let's look at this matter. Let's reason about this. Though the laws be too hard, is that what he said? How do you say we're gonna?
Nope.
Oh, though your sins. So to have sins, meaning what do you have to do? That means you have to be violating law. He's saying, even though you're a violation, I'm going to what? Clean it that it should be white as snow. Though it's red like crimson, it shall be like wool. Because he has to clean us up because we're the problem, not him. Now get the difference? We're the problem, not him. His word is not the problem. We are the problem, being obedient and subject to his word. All right. But what? I love this verse 19. Y'all hear me say it all the time. What do we have to do? Verse 19.
If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land.
I want all these blessings, but don't want to be willing and obedient. That could be the class right there. Be willing and obedient. Beloved, obedience is not just, you have to understand something. Obedient, I'm submitting to this, right? Obey, keyword obeying. Our problem is we don't want to obey. That's why he's saying if you be willing and obedient. We didn't want to obey what God was saying. And then the next part, everybody say, oh, spiritual. I'm going to show you. Willingness is what? That's a spirit, beloved. See, you can come to the Sabbath, you come to the feast, but you need to be willing to do it. Don't be dragging, oh my God, the Sabbath here. See, that ain't what he wants. He wants us to be looking forward to these things. Be willing to do it. What can I do? Because you understand it. The more you understand it, it should bring a certain spirit among you. You want to serve God because of what he's done. That's why that condition, if you be willing and obedient, then you'll eat the good of the land. Some of us ain't eating the good of the land because we might feel that we're being obedient, but we're coming in the wrong spirit. We're not being willing. Some of us being willing, we want to do that, but we're not what? We're not obeying. So you can have a zeal, but like Paul says, not according to what? Knowledge. You can be willing, serve God, but it has to be according to what? Knowledge. You need both, willing and obedient. Then you'll eat the good of the land. Okay. While we're in Isaiah, let's go to chapter 66. Okay. And everything, beloved, we're doing, not attacking no one. I want you to understand, we're not attacking nobody. All right. This is like Paul said, what we do teaching is for edification, not for destruction. This is never to grab. Don't ever grab teaching and think you using it to try to destroy somebody. No, that is not what the Most High has ever given me things to do to destroy somebody. These things is for edification. The first one who wanted to edify is us. You get this stuff for you. Don't learn this stuff. Oh, so when that person says something to me, I'm going to use this to tear them up. Nah, that ain't the purpose of it. And you're off. This is for your edification. All right. This is not for just destroying people. Okay. It's the wrong spirit to be in. But when they come up against you ready to fight, you do have a shield. You can use it as a shield now, beloved. All right. But you don't just go intentionally come in and try to destroy people and show you know all these things. Okay. Isaiah 66, start from verse 1, brother.
Thus said Yahweh, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me, and where is the place of my rest? For all those things have my hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahweh. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word.
He has to tremble at what?
My word.
This man, I will look. I'll look at them that's poor and contrite in spirit, and trembleth at my word. And remember that contrite in the spirit, all right? Because I think we might have a verse, if our time permits, go to verse dealing with that, all right? Let's read verse 3. Listen to this. Listen. Do this slow, Brother Kai.
He that killeth an ox, as if he slew a man.
You can kill an ox. Real quick, hold on. He could kill an ox. He that killeth an ox is as he slew a man. Listen to the comparison. We can kill an ox. That was acceptable. But he's saying when you're doing killing an ox, it's going to be like you're killing a man. Like you're what? Breaking the law. Read the next part.
He that sacrificeth a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck.
We can kill a lamb. We sacrifice lamb. But he's saying when you're doing it, it's going to be looked at as what? Like cutting off a dog's neck. Read.
He that offereth an oblation as if he offered swine's blood.
The oblation is supposed to be going up, being accepted. But he's saying this is going to be looked at as like, when you do it, it's going to be like offering swine's blood. Read.
He that burneth incense as if he blessed an idol.
See, when we giving the incense, when we giving these things to our God, right? Going to be a sweet smelling savior. But he said it's going to be like you blessing an idol. Read.
Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighted in their abominations.
That's why. Oh, you want to do what you want to do, and then you want to offer certain things up to me. So when you thinking you're offering it, right? Oh, I got the lamb and everything. The Most High is saying, I'm seeing when you killing that lamb, like you killing a dog. And it basically, that's an abominable thing. You can't. You definitely. They would let you bring a dog near there to be sacrificed. Swine's flesh. This is what he's saying. When you want to do what you want to do, not the feast, but when you want to do your things, and then you want to also, I want to give this, I'm going to offer this up to the Lord. Nah, don't work that way. Verse 4.
I also would choose their delusion.
Stop it.
And would bring their.
Stop it right there. When you don't want to follow through what he told you to do, he's saying, I'm going to choose their delusion. Now, what's scary about delusion is you think you're right. You don't think not to think you know you're right in what you believe. That's the scary part about delusions. Some of us at a point where I don't understand it, and then we get to a certain confidence, and we start doing these things. That's the scary part. That's the part we don't wish on no man, that the Most High put delusions on. But you keep flirting with disobedience, you're going to get a delusion. And when the Most High put a delusion on you, we can't take that off. He has to. All right? So we cannot play with these things, beloved. All right, Brother Kai, go ahead. You can finish it.
It would bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes, and chose that which I delighted not.
That's all. Like I said, you see the same theme, beloved. The same theme. I'm going to bring delusion on you, and I'm going to bring fears upon you. That's why they're scared to do certain things. Oh, if I do this, this is going to be like this. Yeah, you see why now? It's a big scare. You're like, wait up, why are you scared of this? And I always got to insult y'all. Y'all black behinds don't get scared to put that, when the St. Patrick's Day, throw all that green in your head and act like you a leprechaun. You don't fear that. It don't got to do nothing with anything. You ain't never questioned it. You ain't say, is it of God or not? Nothing. But when you read something in this word of God, your first thing is the question why you don't need to do all this stuff and the fear of all. See, this is why I say you don't play with it. Because the Most High said this will happen. You got a fear of doing what thus saith the Lord, but you don't have a fear of something he ain't never mentioned. All right? So we don't want to do this because what? When I spake, they did not hear. When I told them what to do, they didn't want to do it. They always had an excuse why they couldn't do it. But they did evil and chose that in which I delighted not. And so when you're doing like that, beloved, yeah, I'll tell you right now, there ain't no feast, no Sabbath, no nothing going to save you. If you want to do what you want to do, all right? All right, let's go to Proverbs 27 real quick. It's just a one verse right here. Proverbs 27, and we go to verse, I'm sorry, not Proverbs 27, Proverbs 21. Proverbs 21. Apologize. Proverbs 21 and verse 27. Proverbs 21. I'm sorry. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 27. Verse 27.
The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind?
Ooh. So maybe I thought this is what we was talking about, right? The sacrifice of the wicked is a what? Abomination. No matter what you bring. That's why I brought you to the lamb. He's bringing a lamb, but it's like what? A dog. He killing an oxen, but it's coming like a what? Like he's killing a man. Because what? Why is the sacrifices being looked at like that? Because the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. When you are wicked, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's all being polluted. So when they was coming and bringing their stuff, let's say Passover, they're bringing that lamb without blemish. They're thinking it's all right, even though they wicked. But that sacrifice is what? An abomination. It's not nothing new. It's all the way in Proverbs you talk about this. And much more, listen, and much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind. When your mind's not right and you come in and present something to the Lord, that's even worse. This is why Christ was saying what? If you got to all with your brother, you need to clear that up first, then bring your gift. What was he trying to do? You need to purge out this mind. I don't want you thinking y'all should have some fault and you have this, this stuff going on and you're going to offer something to the Most High. No, because you need to be pure. They were focusing on the oblation or the sacrifice instead of what? The trueness of what he's dealing with. This, you got to get this pure. Okay? So once again, just another snippet. This is why he hated, when he say hate the feast and hate the sacrifice, stuff like that. It wasn't, he already commanded. Why would he just hate it out of nowhere? No, because they were wicked in trying to do these things. All right? It was never intended for that. Let's go to, I don't want this one. All right, let's go to it quick. All right, let's go to Sirach. We're only going to have 3 spots after this, and we're going to call it a day. All right? 3 spots after this, and we'll call it a day. All right, Sirach chapter 35. I feel like I just read this one with y'all a little bit ago, so maybe I might skip some of those verses. Right? Yeah, I just did this one. Keeping the law, bringing offerings enough. Because like I said, what I'm understanding, we do bring offerings and stuff now, even though we're not bringing the animals, right? We're still offering to the Most High, okay? But it comes with, keeping the law, bringing offerings enough. You take heed to the commandments, offering a peace offering. So we're still doing those things. That because you have to know the laws and how they were going with that. So we're still doing it, but we're not doing it with the actual little like fine flour or the lamb and stuff like that. We're doing it in I won't even say a spiritual manner of how this is how the Most High had it set up. Okay, but I don't want to go through all this. Yeah, we'll need to go through this right now. All right, let's go to First Maccabees. We can skip this, right? But if you got time, you can read it. It's a good just like the first 1 through 12 will be the you'll get the point. Okay, let's go to First Maccabees. Right. So if you know about this, beloved, this is during the this is a little bit after who's the king? King Alexander. All right, during that, after the Greek Empire, you kind of run into Antiochus. More specifically known as Antiochus Epiphanes. Daniel talks about these times, okay? Very rough times, all right? Found in the Apocrypha. So this is some of the history that is in there, okay? All right. So First Maccabees 1, and we're going to go to verse 41. First Maccabees 1 and verse 41.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Give me next verse 2.
And everyone shall leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. So
this king, all right, this King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom, and he wanted everybody to be one people. Listen to this, beloved. He wanted everybody to be one people. What's important when talking about being one people? We need to be touching the green. We need to have some laws or something. Everyone should leave his laws. Because, think about this, beloved, when you leave your laws, you're leaving that, what you're connecting with that, and now you can be joined to something else. All right. So he's telling you, I want everybody to leave their laws. So all the heathens, according to the commandments of the king. So the heathens like, all right, we're gonna leave our laws. Whatever we had and everything, we'll go. All right, so we can be one people. Read the next verse.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
What is the heathens, but what? Israel. We left our laws. Listeners, beloved, even the heathen knows these things. We leave our laws, and now you can become us. Right? You got to ask yourself, beloved, who laws are you being subject to? Because you're subject to one. If you leave the law of Moses and all that stuff, then what laws are you subject to? Okay. All right, let's keep going. So he's saying Israelites consented to his religion. All right, that's what it is, their religion, belief, and sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath. All right, which we know we cannot be doing according to our laws. Verse 44.
For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
Yeah, they
and forbid burnt
offerings. You know, they strange to us because this ain't what God gave to us. This is some different thing. All right, read.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
So he forbid that they what? Burnt offerings, sacrifice, and drink offerings. Where was this happening? In the temple. All right. So this is why when the temple gets desecrated, stuff like that, by the law designed you have to do certain things there. All right. That's why you can't do certain things when the temple's not there. You can't do certain things. Okay. So this was happening, and they should what? The intent was what? That they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. He was trying to get them to go against and be unsanctified, unholy, whatever words you want to use by doing this. All right. Verse 46.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
That was his point. How do you pollute the people of God? Forget about to say, how do you pollute the people of God, beloved? What did he know? What is he telling us? You got to get them away from their laws, and this is how you'll pollute the people. Because what? It says the holy people. I got to get them to do some things that's unholy. That's not according to their word. Okay? Verse 47.
Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast.
And this is why he's polluted it. This is how he polluted. Okay? Set up altars, put groves in there, killing things that's not supposed to be in there. All right? And that will pollute the temple. Okay? So this is what this king was doing. Very wicked. Read.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. Salakia.
That they should leave their children what?
Uncircumcised.
Why would that matter so much to him, though? What was his ideal? He wanted to get us away from our God to pollute us. Why does he know about the circumcision? Why would that be a big deal to him? It's just a piece of fluff. Or maybe he knew, he had some insight. Right? Or is he Paul before Paul came about? Oh, circumcision, nothing. No. As long as you circumcise in the heart. Nah, he knew. He knew it was something. He didn't know as deep as we should have known, right? But he knew there was something to that. All right? You start getting uncircumcised. Think about the people. Think about our connection. We all uncircumcised. Do you think we was close to God? All right? So he was showing certain things he was doing, beloved. Couldn't follow through with some of the things. To what? Read verse 49. We got one verse after. We got one spot after this, beloved. But read verse 49 is the whole point.
To the end, they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
His thing with all this, beloved, is so we can forget the law and change all the ordinance of it. I want you to forget about the Sabbath. I want you to forget about the feast days. I want you to forget about all that stuff Moses had in that law. Now, beloved, who do the leaders of the church sound like? This guy was evil. He wasn't for us or anything like that. But why does he sound just like some of the people that saying they of God? Something you got to ask yourself. All right. Something you have to ask yourself. All right. Psalm 51, last verse. Last passage. All right. And we went to this a couple of times. All right. But sometimes I want to keep repeating it so it stays in our mind. All right. Psalm 51, we already know the whole created me a clean heart thing that David was saying. All right. But we're going to go to that bottom piece. Read verse 16.
But thou desirest not sacrifice, else I will give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering.
Yeah. So I don't desire sacrifice. So there's a point with that. I don't desire to sacrifice. What, the killing all these animals, right? He's very specific. I don't desire this. All right. Read verse 17.
The sacrifices of God or a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, thou would not despise.
He's saying I can reject the, because what we understand, he can reject the animal sacrifice because what? If you're wicked, he can reject it. I don't care how perfect the animal was. If you're wicked, okay? But he's saying one thing I won't reject is what? The sacrifice of God or a broken spirit. All right? A broken and contrite. Remember I said, remember that? We read other passages. Remember that broken and contrite part? A broken and contrite heart, oh God, thou will not despise. So this is why Christ was getting on certain things and getting what? Trying to get our hearts and minds right. Saying the Most High, he's going to accept you. He accepts the humble. He accepts the ones that submit themselves to him and go low. He accepts that. He always did. What Christ is bringing out wasn't something just thought-provoking stuff that we already should have had somewhat knowledge of. Okay? Read.
Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar.
You do it right. Do it how it's supposed to be. He said, yeah, that's when it'll be accepted. Okay? So the point, even with some of these things, the sacrifice I wanted to throw in there, beloved, because it's always been about, your spirit and that willingness and obedience to the Most High. All right? Never been about getting caught up on the particular animal and everything and stuff like that, right? The point was he had these laws so that we can see ourselves, beloved. These laws are supposed to be a mirror to us. You want to see how you look? You said examine thyself. This is how you examine it. Right? I want to know if I'm a good husband. Look at what the law talks about being a good husband. I want to be a good wife. Look what the law and everything telling us how to be a good wife. Right? So the law is going to be that mirror to us. It's going to be that light to us. Okay? You don't want to just start throwing it away and polluting it. I know there's a lot of doctrine stuff out there. Don't just start destroying the law, beloved. Because you're going to destroy yourself. But use it. Use the tool that the Most High has given us. Right? So that we can what? Walk in perfection. Okay, Timothy talks about that. With I think it's 3:16 or 2:16, maybe 3:16, right? That word of God is for so we can be perfect, right? And edifying. And that's what it's about, beloved. We want to be edified so we can be better servants of the Most High God. Okay, we don't look down on nobody. We're not here to even condemn nobody. Lord, teach us how to serve you better. Okay? So, beloved, we're going to end it there. We'll close out. Anybody have any questions, stuff like that, we can bring it out then, and then we'll talk a little bit about next week, all right? Because next week is our celebration. Right? So with that, those online, right? Those online through YouTube, we say Yana Habatham, which means we love you all. Shalom.